hearted people. I know he never messes with those who found a loophole in making it through. He never bothers those. If you always going to bed at night and you never have to worry about anything and everything is flowing your way, I wonder. Because the devil always tried to oppose anything that's significant to the Lord. He will always try to hinder it. He'll always try to break it. He'll always try to pull it down because he knows it's giving God glory. He doesn't mess with half-hearted people. It's John Newton, Deacon Thomas, has said in his letter, he said, faith upholds a Christian under all trials by assuring him that every painful disposition is under direction for the Lord, and that chastisements are a token of his love, that the season, measure, and continuance of his suffering are approved by infinite wisdom, and is designed to work for everlasting good and grace and strength, and it shall be afforded him according to his need, unquote. He's saying that now, listen, be not surprised when you go through fiery temptations. As if some strange thing happened to you. You knew Calvary must come first before you get the Pentecostal experience. You knew he already told us, be prepared to be afflicted as soon as you take on my name. Notice, it didn't happen when you had your own name, but as soon as you named the name of Jesus, it broke out. Every demon was coming your way. As soon as you made him your choice, now everybody wants to be away from you and no one wants to be around. As soon as you made him your choice, it broke down everything. Now the enemy has made you enemy number one. And you walk around with a target around you and on you because of the decision you made. And so now here it's critical to know this, because Satan comes at the weakest, unfocused times to offer the tool of discouragement. I'm going to work this thing here. He's slick here. He comes at the weakest time. He comes when you don't see what you wanted to see and you're not hearing what you wanted to hear. He comes when you're hearing what you didn't want to hear and you seeing what you did not want to see. He comes here. It's critical here because he comes and he brings this tool of discouragement. He offers this to you, this subtle tool here. And you can still be saved. But look, use this tool in this situation because the enemy knows it's critical. And most of us give up when we're weak. Most of us give up when we're hungry, when we're angry, when we're lonely, and we're tired. When I'm too tired to fight, he offers a tool. When I'm too tired to move on, he offers a tool. He knows you saved, but you can be discouraged, he tells you. You can be mad because you can't see what you was wanting to see, and you're not hearing what you wanted to hear. You can be discouraged. He wants you to approach the presence of God and say, Lord, I'm mad at you because I'm telling y'all, I'm on something here now. I've asked you to do something and you didn't do it. I asked you to work this out. I don't ask you much. I asked you last night, can you have it together by tomorrow? And when I look for it tomorrow, I don't see it. The enemy said you can get discouraged. It's critical now. He offers this when we are at our weakest and unfocused times, because the beginning of discouragement is the end of faith. That's why he knows that. But the end of discouragement is the beginning of faith. He knows this. So now if you can start being discouraged, you know you can't be discouraged and have faith at the same time. Stay with me. This is why he offers this subtle tool. He's not going to offer pride, arrogance. He's not going to offer adultery, fornication. He's not going to offer envy, strife. He's not going to offer that. He knows that you're too too wise for that. So what he does is he offers discouragement. You can be mad at God. It's okay. He offers discouragement. And it's critical because when you're unfocused, you grab hold to this tool. You forget that there's many people in church that's still giving God praise, but discouraged. Are y'all with me? Because it didn't work out the way they thought it was going to work out. I'm discouraged because I was looking for something and I could not find it. I'm upset with God. So he's going to get half my praise, y'all stay with me here. Stay with me here. He knows this now. And once we lose focus, he offers this subtle tool. Because he knows once you grab this tool, you got to let go of faith. Once you grab discouragement, you have to let go of faith. But if I can grab hold of true faith, I can let go of discouragement. That's why the Bible said faith comes by hearing. That's why you here this morning. So you can let discouragement go and grab hold of true faith. Because once I grab hold of true faith, no devil in hell will make me go against the will. I must finish what I started. Oh, discouragement is critical. It's critical. Discouragement. It's a tool used by the enemy because you're too smart for all the other tools. So he says, get discouraged. He says, get discouraged because it ends faith. Get discouraged here because you can't be troubled with God, but then have faith in God. He knows that. So he offers this. It's the enemy. It's Satan now. The English translation of the Hebrew word Satan is adversary. Now you have to understand this because adversary is depicted as one whose basic duty is to accuse human beings before God. That's adversary. That's Satan. His basic duty is to accuse you before God. That's his basic duty. Is accuse you before the will of God. That work and the purpose that God has given them will not be accomplished because unfaithfulness, ungratefulness of the saints. Okay, I got to work this out, and then we get to know Nehemiah here. The enemy, the adversary, his job is to accuse you. That God has set you out to do a work, but you ain't going to do it. He accuses you, the adversary, every day. The job gonna get in the way. Watch. She gonna get right in the way. Watch. He's gonna get in the way. Watch. That money gonna get right in the way. Watch. Just watch. Just watch. He accuses them daily. He goes to and fro and he accuses the brother, and the Bible says daily. That's his basic duty, to accuse us before God. That the purpose that was given to us will not be accomplished. Now you got to watch this now because God knows the gift will make room for you. Matter of fact, the gift go ahead of you and creates the platform. So when you get there, the platform is in the company of great men. The enemy knows that. But if you get discouraged, you won't use your gift. If you don't use your gift, you don't have a platform. He knows this now because he accuses us daily. Give them 3, they're going to want 4. If you don't give them 4, they're going to stop praising you. They're accused, and we're accused daily by the enemy. That's the adversary. He says we're ungrateful, we're unfaithful. When we don't have what we want, we're ungrateful. When we do get what we want, we're still ungrateful. When we get what we want, we are we don't want to help the Lord. We don't want to do nothing for him. We don't want to be there for him. We're unfaithful. And so he accuses us. He's accusing you right now. He's telling God right now, they're going to sit up in their church and that word is going to fall on unfertile ground and they're going to leave you discouraged the way they came in. But you need to make the devil out of a lie and say, I came here to do the work of the Lord and I'm going to finish what I started. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish what I started. I came here to praise, and I'm going to leave here praising. I came here to worship, and I'm going to leave here worship. I came here to hear a word, and I'm going to finish what I started. And I'm not going to be discouraged. I'm not going to be discouraged now. The adversary. Did I give y'all a point yet? Oh, it's coming. It's coming right down the pipe here. The adversary now, he accuses the brother daily here. He is the one who attempts to block the way. That's his job. See, you need to know his job so that you won't get upset, because I use the attacks on the enemies as the indication I must be on the right road, because you ain't gonna fight no half-hearted believer. Are y'all with me here? I remember one time I was going to church, and on my way to church, brother Robert, I got a ticket, but the officer was going opposite of where I was going. But I was on my way to church. He got out, he cussed me out. I didn't understand it. I said, if all you need is my license, just say so. He said, don't let me have to run you in. Now, I didn't know what was going on, and I got discouraged because I was trying to figure out, here I am trying to do God's will, and there the enemy is afflicting me and coming up against me, but God had to let me know you right at the edge of the breakthrough, because the enemy will peep your file just to see how dedicated you are, and then he'll try to block your, are y'all with me? He's going to try to block your way. And so now what he does is he wanders aimlessly because he don't have a home. So the Bible says he wanders around the earth looking for those who are working and building. He's not looking for those who are not working and building. He wanders aimlessly, and what gets him by surprise is when he finds a saint building and to and fro as a lion. He's not even like a lion, but he walk around like a lion, and seeking who he may devour, finding those who working and who are building. So now he looks for you to get you sidetracked or to give up completely. That's his job. Remember, he's there to block. He's there to block the way. So now he looks. He's still at work. It tells us now he's here now to block or sidetrack the will of God, or to make you give up completely. He knows the easiest way to oppose the work of God is to start ridiculing. He knows this now. He knows that's an easy way to now start talking about them. Now, it's funny because Nehemiah, I'm jumping because I'm shouting up on the inside. He talks now. Nehemiah begins to write his own story. Nehemiah now, serving as a high official in the Persian office 12 years, receives a word by Hananiah, and tells them that now the Jerusalem wall is broken down and the people are disheartened. So now Nehemiah, he gathers the people and start building. Now the Bible tells us that the enemy showed up twice already. When Nehemiah first showed up to the scene, and up again when he was rallying the workers to start building. The enemy was trying to figure out what's going on. You want the enemy to be busy? You stay busy. You want him to be distraught? You keep quiet and give God praise. He knew Nehemiah would not leave the Persian office and come to Jerusalem just to visit. He must be here to build something for God. Are y'all with me? You need to make the devil get antsy when you come to work. You need to make the devil have a problem when you go eat. They need to wonder, why are you here? I thought you were off. No, I ain't off. I'm here to give God praise. Even at work, the devil needs to know, and not me being recognized by anybody else but him, that I am a child of God, and I'm going to finish exactly what I. Are y'all with me? Somebody say preach. Okay. Now he shows up twice. Nehemiah shows up. He shows up. So Nehemiah now, he starts to rally the people together. Sort of like Thomas, Pastor Cunningham. He rallies the people up together. And so now he gets mad. And you begin to see the progression of anger rising in chapter 4. It began to rise. It said they were wroth because Nehemiah is here. And then it said they started to build, and now they got even more angry because they're building and because they're working. If they wasn't working or building, they would not be upset. They would not have a place to visit if they was not building or working. But because he started to work and because he rallied the people up together and said, now we need to start building this wall back up, the progression of his anger began to rise. He began to be more through his imps, I call them. Because if you're not being used by God, you're being used by the enemy. You're being pimped by the devil when you do his work. You know that. And so here now, Nehemiah begins to rally the people together. We're going to have to get up and start building that which was torn down. Rebuild this wall. He brings a refresh expectation to the people. A fresh start. We need a fresh start. We need a fresh start. If you did something wrong or upsetting to the will of God, you need to say, I'm going to start fresh. You don't keep dwelling on it, because then discouragement comes and you can't have faith to see God bring you out. You have to say, I'm starting fresh. Nehemiah comes because the enemy knows Nehemiah. He's always seeking God's face. So when Nehemiah shows up on the scene, some work is about to be done. Nehemiah rallies the people together and say, we're going to get a fresh start. And we starting with the wall of Jerusalem. The people are disheartened now. They wanted to give up now. He's restoring their identity. He's restoring their worship. They're bringing it back to God. And the enemy knows that. Anytime Pastor Cunningham come up, he's going to restore the identity of someone who lost who they are. He knows this. If God wake him up, I know he's going to get to church early, because he's going to try to restore the worship and someone who lost their worship. He knows this. Anytime a child of God get things together, they're going to start building somewhere. It doesn't matter if I'm on the island by myself. I'm going to start building some praise up. Yeah. 1 point now. So here now, it was hard to attack. I want y'all to see this. I'm going to preach my hardest, and then I'm going to get out of here. I got to preach hard because the devil don't get mad unless I give it my all. And I can't be half-hearted. And so here now, it was hard to attack Nehemiah and the people of Israel because Nehemiah had permission from the king. Y'all didn't understand that one. The reason why he couldn't really touch them violently because Nehemiah came with permission. See, some of the stuff we've been building without permission, and that's why it's been tearing down. But when you come with permission, I'm here to build my life. I'm here to build my worship. I get permission from the king. Are y'all with me here? He's gotten permission now from Artaxerxes, who now Nehemiah was the cupbearer of him. In other words, he would taste the wine before he gave it to the king, and if any poison was there, Nehemiah would die before the king. What a weird job to have, but God put him in that position because sometimes you can look at that and begin to get distraught and discouraged. He probably tried to complain but wouldn't. That why am I sitting here as a cupbearer? Because God knows a few steps ahead of him, you're going to need permission from this one you sipping wine for. It's going to work together for your good. That's why when you start a work, you finish it. Because at the end, you win. Y'all with me? Okay, now, the people was disheartened. He had permission from the king, so they could not attack the way they wanted. So Sanballat and Tobiah begins to instigate through psychological warfare. Y'all with me here? They couldn't touch him because he had permission from the king. That's why I had to keep reminding the devil. The Bible said, touch not my anointed. No, do my prophets no harm. You don't touch me. Then you can say whatever you want outside the gate. But you can't touch me. I'm under the hand of God. So now they start to instigate Sanballat and Tobiah. They start to instigate now through psychological warfare. Because if I have your mind, I have your body. I can't have your body. So let me go through psychological warfare. Stay with me here now. They were trying to destroy by ridiculing and taunting. And the questions that were asked shows us that the enemy works as well. Because when we begin to look at verse 2, it shows us that the enemy waited for God to say, let there be. He started the work. You can yawn and get up at 12, but the devil starts as soon as God said, let there be. So now these questions lets me know the devil is at work as well. You ain't the only one working. He's trying to work against you, but he's working. You ain't the only one working. He's trying to work against you so that you can give up. You ain't the only one working. That's why the Bible in Proverbs speaks of laziness and slothfulness. How are you going to sleep on the enemy? Your job is to keep building in spite of. And whatever you start, you need to finish it, because the enemy is at work trying to get you to discourage and walk away from your job that needs to be completed. But let me serve notice on the devil right now. Thomas ain't walking away from nothing. I'm going to finish. Okay, I'm preaching to myself right now. I'm preaching to myself here. Psychological warfare, he comes. He comes now, Sanballat and Tobiah, verse 2 and 3. Psychological warfare. Sanballat, what he did, it was, Deacon Harris, he used 5 rhetorical questions to demean the perseverance of Nehemiah and the people. In verse 2, psychological warfare. He comes now and he tries to instigate or ridicule what they're doing. Now, can I tell you something? You got to watch out for Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem in verse 2 up now. Because they come around, they know they can't really hurt you. So they try to use psychological warfare. You always carrying your Bible. Ridicule and taunting. Are you going to pray? You going to pray long like you know me? Ridicule and taunting. We trying to go to lunch, but you trying to have Bible study. Ridicule and taunting. It's the Sanballats and the Tobias that come around to try to have you feeling what you doing right is wrong. But did not the Bible tell me that? They're going to say what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right. Did he not just warn me that when I start building, the enemy's going to come around because he's looking for builders. He's looking for workers that he may taunt and ridicule and get them to walk away from their project. Look at somebody and say, don't walk away. Okay. All right. Okay. He asks us these rhetorical questions. What are these weak Jews doing or sympathetic? What are they doing? Do they think they can build a wall in a day? Then he asks, can they bring burnt stones back to life? Now here comes his sidekick. Are y'all with me? Sanballat was talking. Now, Tobiah wants to jump in. And now he says, and mock the quality of the work, saying that a fox could leap on this and this fall. See, now you got to watch yourself, because now Tobiah jumped on the bandwagon with Sanballat. But when the wrath come down, you want to make sure you're not around those who are going against the will of God. He asked these questions. Are you crazy? I said we getting laid off. You said pray. Are you crazy? I said it's not looking good. You said yes it is. Are you crazy? You said you healed, but you're not healed. Are you sick, ridiculed, tauntings making you feel like what you're trusting in is wrong. I'd rather trust in God than to trust in my car. I'd rather trust in God than to trust in my home. I'd rather trust in God because cursed be the man who put trust in man. Because my God never sleeps nor slumbers. My God won't lie like man do. When God said he'll keep you in perfect. Okay. So now they taunting. You in church every Sunday. Taunting, criticizing. You done gave up everything. Man, we don't see you anymore. Girl, we used to hang out taunting, making you feel bad. And the first thing you look for is God not doing something to get discouraged. You got to watch out for psychological warfare. So they here now to break down the work of God. Here now. They're being used by the enemy to block the way. How many days have we been spending on the sideline of our work because the enemy has blocked our way? He's gotten in the way. Have you ever talked to yourself and say, where is God now? You haven't done that yet. Have you ever got trouble with yourself and say, why ain't God doing what he said he's going to do? Have you ever had those nights where you read the promise, but the problem came before the promise? Have you ever been in a situation when Ishmael came before the Isaac? Oh, am I the only one here? You look through the worst and you're trying to find how to get out of this situation. But God's answer is stay in the situation. But now you're wondering why the enemy is attacking. Because God said that's an indication that the enemy knows that any child of God who can work and stay working, there's a blessing on. I'm going to keep on working. Look at somebody and say, I'm going to keep on working. It's an end to my beginning. It's an end to my beginning. And whatever I start, I'm going to finish it. Point one here. Point one. Point one, write this down. Remain balanced with your faith and action. Remain balanced with your faith and action. Okay, we got to work this thing out. Look at verse 6 here. Chapter 4, Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 6. So built we the wall. We started the wall. And all the wall was joined together, but a key word, unto the half. So they was halfway through. We still had a mind to work, but we was halfway through. Satan knows the halfway mark. At any work is the most effective time to strike. He knows he knows as soon as you get saved, you're going to be running around witnessing for at least a couple of months. He knows that. You ain't had a trial yet. He knows that because God had to allow it to be. He waits for the halfway mark for you now to be in it for a little while. They're halfway through, and then he comes again. Verse 7, verse 8, verse 9, he comes again to now try to hinder them at the halfway. Can I tell you something? How do you know when you're at the halfway mark? He hits the hardest because he knows once you cross over, it gets easier. If I can get through hump day of my life, on Thursday gonna be easy. If I can get through the first day of fast, I can trust God for the rest. Here he come on hump day, trying to attack and afflict me, want me to get discouraged because I'm not seeing what I want to see. But it ain't for me to see, because eyes have not seen, nor ears heard, nor entered in the hearts of man the things God hasn't. Are y'all with me? Okay. All right. 3 people got it. So here now, he waits for the halfway mark. And then he now strikes. He lets you hear. He hears you say, I'm praying for God to do this by Friday. Here it is Monday, you don't get attacked. What's going on? Here it is Tuesday. and nothing happens. What's going on? Now here comes Wednesday, because he know Friday you're waiting for that, and he offers the tool of discouragement. It's going to be 2 days, and matter of fact, you got 1 day because you need it on Friday. Are you going to still hold out? Are you going to complete your work? Are you going to abandon your faith and trust in God? It's much easier to get discouraged than to trust the will of God. Let me hand you this, and I got to disguise it. So he used spiritual and psychological warfare. Are y'all with me here? Okay, now I want you to see this, because the enemy has walked over many unfinished projects. He have walked over many unfinished projects and accused the builder of abandoning their project. He don't care about you. He wants to have you be a mockery to God, because God has gifted you to do every purpose and plan he has for your life. But if I can get you to abandon it, you will not be able to live, because I live off my gift. That's why everybody has a gift. Are y'all with me here? Okay. Don't you know when God gifted us before the foundation of the world? When you was born into this world, you had a gift. Everyone has at least one gift. He's given you a gift to take you through the purpose. But if the enemy can have you blocking the building, then you are now refusing to build through your purpose. So he comes now. He walks over so many unfinished projects, and he laughs. He comes to church. He comes to church, and he walks over, and he laughs at unfinished projects. He comes to your job. Yes, he does. He got hired before you was hired. He comes and he walks over unfinished projects. He tries to enter in your home. You know that. Somebody left the door open. He comes to your home, and he laughs at the unfinished projects. How many of us said, this week I'm going to do something special for God? How many of us said, this week God's going to have his way? How many of us said, this week I'm going to read my Bible more and more? But it was this week I went through the hardest trial of my life, and I abandoned my project and started focusing what I can see. Now, the germ comes from the external effect, which causes an internal effect. Okay. Now, you have to understand, Philippians says this: for it is God which worketh in you both to will and do of his good pleasure. So now it's God. Now you have a will, and it's God working in you both to will. The question is, would you build? Yes, I will. So when I will build for God, he worketh out his good pleasure. Okay? Oh, I got some time here. Okay? Your advancement becomes a setback to his attacks. He knows that. When you start building, it set back his attack. Don't you know when he approaches a builder and they're building, he has to step back? Because normally the builders don't build. So you have to make the enemy redesign his attack, because he found me building. See, some saints, the enemy can use the same tools he used in the old, because he always finding you not building. But I'm going to be that one that when he approach my life, he's going to find me working and building to the glory of God. Are y'all with me here? Okay. All right. Point two. Point two. I want you to get this and have a good week. Because when the enemy attacks, you're hidden in the pavilion of God. You're under the shadow. See, the thing is, follow me to his presence. See, the enemy don't want to follow you to God's presence. All right. Point two. Point two. In Nehemiah chapter 4, point 2. Be prepared for inspectors. All right? Because you're doing the work. You're building. Be prepared for inspectors. Just turn to chapter 2. That'll help. Chapter 2. Nehemiah chapter 2. I want you to see something. Verse 19. Be prepared for inspectors. Did you write that down? Nehemiah chapter 2, verse 19. But when Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem, the Arabian, heard it, they laughed us to scorn. It was funny to them that I was building. Okay. And despised us and said, what is this thing that you do? You got to understand the trick of the enemy. Will you rebel against the king? Wait a minute. The king gave me permission. Psychological warfare will have me thinking that I'm doing something against the king because I decided to build. Are y'all with me here? Just because you don't let your children do everything they want to do doesn't make you a bad parent. It makes you a child of God that's giving out instructions and guidance. My job is to train you in a way that you should go. Verse 20. Then answer I them and said unto them, the God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore, we, his servants, will arise, and guess what we're going to do? But ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in the place I'm building. See, all right, I got to say this and I'm going to move on. You need to remind the devil you standing on holy ground and you have no place. And I'm not going to let you occupy any space in my mind. All right, okay. Let me just tell you this. Let me tell you this with chapter 2. Let me tell you this with chapter 2 and chapter 4. Critics run with critics. And critics attack your strength. Critics will try to attack your vision. And critics will try to attack your confidence. Because critics run with critics. The Bible says Sanballat and his servant Tobiah and Geshem and the others did you write that down? Be prepared for inspectors. Okay, critics run with critics. They dare to attack. That's why they're here. That's why they come around to inspect. That's why they come around. They don't come around to encourage. They come around to discourage. And critics run with critics. Okay? Your duty is not to please the critics, nor the complainers. Your duty is to please the Lord. Now, okay, now I got to show y'all this because somebody going to go through this week. Okay, now here is what's going to happen. Now the critics run with critics. Now they try to come and they begin to talk about the outside work. And now they're trying to use psychological warfare. So now the battle moved from the outside to the inside. How do you know that? Look at verse 10. Oh, this is weird now. You got to be prepared for inspectors. Now, the battle moved from the outside, and you're talking about the building, to now the inside. Verse 10. And Judah said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed. And there is much rubbish, so that we are not able. Wait a minute. You started building, halfway mark, the enemy comes. Now he has you focusing on what you're doing and seeing the trash. The hardest thing to move is the trash. Because when I don't want to move the trash, then I can't see me getting through this. How much trash is still laying around? The reason why you can't build, they said, is the king. And now there's much rubbish. Wait a minute. That wasn't a problem when you started. Do you not want to move the trash? They said, now we're not able to do this. You wasn't able in the beginning, but you started focusing on, I may have to give up this, give up that, give up this. It's too much for me to work with. And now I'm discouraged. But the Bible lets me know you cast all your cares up. Are y'all with me? Okay. Now, they were there now to intimidate the builder. So now they couldn't work with the stones. So they wanted to intimidate the builder. They wanted to use them against themselves, like in verse 10. See, ain't nobody messing with them. Now, this on the inside. Now, they're looking at the rubbish and saying, we're not going to be able to do this. So now they're intimidating the builder and use you against yourself through criticism, through humiliation, through low self-esteem. I thought you told everybody God's going to bring it to pass this week. And it didn't happen. Humiliation. Now you're scared to go around them because you don't want to feel like you was a false prophet. Humiliation. Criticism. People talking to you and talking about you. Criticism.